Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, we're going to talk about supply shortage of 2021. So let's dive right into it. Well, first, 2021 is not complete unless we understand 2020. Now, what happened in 2020? Well, world went boom. So world stopped. What does that mean? That simply means 100% of production was stopped. Now, depending on your location, depending on your factories, depending on geography, it could be like, okay, your production was stopped for like 1 month or 3 months or 1 week, but it was stopped. No matter what, no matter where you are on planet Earth, there was a time where everything stopped, and that is a very big deal given the fact that these factories basically that run our whole world, they never stop 24 into 7 into 365. They do not stop, and whenever they stop, they have a way to compensate for that. And this was unexpected, and it applied globally. So there was no like, okay, this let's say this hard drive production factory suffered an issue, other things will back it up. No, there is nothing, because everything went down. So this is a very big impact. The whole world remained silent. That is a very big thing. Now, while this was happening, work from home was picking up. So what does that mean? That simply means the demand on cloud infrastructure went from, okay, 4 million active users to 4 billion active users. So fundamentally, the demand of cloud equipments went ludicrously high, and those manufacturers, providers, whatever their resources they had, they directly dumped into make sure the cloud is actually strong enough to handle these things, because there are many video conferencing app, things of this nature. They were barely designed to handle, let's say, 1 million active users. From that to directly having like millions and millions and millions of all that, that is very very big demand. And because of that physical demand, they had to put more servers and all that. So whatever production that was like restarted directly focused on feeding that system, making sure the cloud is strong enough to handle all this spike, so to say. Now, new products is a very interesting concept, because most of the time new products are like minor improvements. It's like, okay, good stuff. But this time things changed, simply because AMD 5000 series CPUs, while they are a bit pricey, not as cheap as I would like it. Of course, I would like it for free, but like, you get the point. It's not very cheap. However, for its performance, it's mind-bogglingly awesome. And this is the first time AMD CPUs are flat out recommendable. It's like, just buy AMD. Just buy AMD 5000 series and you will be happy. Like that right now, if you really want to recommend somebody Intel, you have to have some specific niche where it's like, within this category, in this case, in this application, this supports Intel very well, then you may want to buy it. But right now, flat out, AMD is flat out king. What does that mean? That simply means this has not happened for past 10 years. So while AMD 3000 was good, while AMD 2000 was also good, they were not king class. This is king class. So this is mind boggling. This is the first time people are just like, just buying AMD. It's just like, you're building a new system, buy AMD. The end. Don't think about it. Just build AMD. So that creates a new paradigm shift, where many people who are like holding off on building a new system, they're like, hey, now might be a very good time to build a system. Then same thing happened with Nvidia RTX 3000. Now RTX 3000 is the second generation on RTX. Now GTX is an old series and it does work. I have GTX 1070, which was the last line of GTX 10 was the last line of GTX. Now RTX was a new technology. Now new technology requires two things, hardware and software. Hardware was RTX 20 series systems, but software wise, as in game engines utilizing ray tracing, was not finalized yet. It was very early on. So if you would have bought a 2000 series graphics card and utilized it, you were not getting max performance out of it, simply because A, there was not enough software that was utilizing as a core component, and B, it was first gen hardware, so hardware also had a lot of issues. So hardware and software, and because basically they were both uncooked, it was like first try. So this time RTX got the second gen, and they learned from their mistakes. And given the fact that RTX ray tracing is quote unquote is directly being baked into the DirectX protocol, sooner or later every game will have RTX. That's like the end. We will have it. Is just like maybe a game released in 2021 or 2022 will have it, like the end. So right now, so software part is already being like sorted out. RTX issues with RTX, they have been sorted out. So software has evolved, hardware has improved. So at this point in time, buying RTX is a kind of necessary requirement at this point in time. So that also created a very huge demand on RTX 3000 series, which was not there in RTX 2000, because most reviewers were flat out like, dude, right now this technology is untested. Right now nobody knows whether RTX gonna catch on or not. And not to mention, what if AMD releases something that is really good and maybe good enough where it's like, dude, I can save money and invest that money on somewhere else. For example, let's say you are utilizing a game title that does not have RTX, but you would rather save money by buying AMD graphics card and then spend that money on high refresh rate monitor. That's much better deal. So people were not very whoa like in 2000 series graphics card, but in 3000 people are excited, and given the fact that pricing is far more reasonable compared to what kind of ludicrously pricey they went with 20 series. Now problem with 20 series was a, they were new technology, b, their production efficiency was very low. It's like they were sending material for 100 GPUs, they were only getting 50 GPUs. The waste was too high. So that happened, and that fundamentally the moment of their release they created a paradox where they're like, dude, this is going to be out of stock instantaneously. So that created demand on AMD RX series. Now RX series is not as good as Nvidia, say flat out the end. Like AMD CPU finally caught up to Intel, but this puppy is still behind. Now this time they are not too behind. If you remove ray tracing, these are like good equipments. They are like, you will not be resentful, you will not be regretful, you won't be like, oh, I'm buying a cheap equipment. It's a good equipment with good performance. So given the fact that flat out RTX is out of stock most where, then demand on this puppy went ludicrously up. Outcome, this also went out of stock. So because of this generation, the fact that CPU and GPU both got a quantum leap, quote unquote, and both are really good at this point in time, so you can understand the demand went idiotically high, and because of work from home, that was like extra fuel on the flames. Now all this starts with silicon shortage. Now this shortage is really bad, simply because silicon shortage was only an outcome of factory shutting down unexpectedly. That never happens. You would be surprised how much uptime these factories have and how little of a buffer they have. It's like, it's mind-bogglingly amazing, quote unquote. However, if you are randomly, your government decides, okay, shut everything down for 1 week or 2 weeks or 1 month, it's like 10. Now you might be thinking like, okay, what's the big deal? But many of these things are very sensitive, quote unquote, sensitive to dust, sensitive to motions, but like unless they are into a final product, they're not stable, quote unquote. So you have to run the production line, otherwise you will have a lot of wastage. Heck, you could be in a scenario where it's almost like cooking a potato chip, where you could have okay, potato chips are going, conveyor belt is down, now potato is stuck in deep fry for more than 60 seconds, it's cooked. Cooked as in like destroyed. So same thing will happen with silicon also. So you have to shut down the whole system, then flat out clean the whole production pipeline. Don't even think about how much money you are wasting doing that, and then you have to restart. Now restarting also takes months. That's why like everything in the system was designed in such a way that it never stops. So restarting is not a priority. Restarting is like a really painful process, and it takes time. And because of these volumes of these equipments, they are designed to produce hundreds of units per hour. So a daily output could be as high of a large factory, million pieces a day. Now what does that happen when you stop it for 1 month? You have backlog, you have idiotically long backlog. And not to mention, even if your production was back up and running, what if a supply chain was not? That means even if you had the product, you could not ship it to where it needs to go. That also created a paradox. So you had insane amount of basically back order that could not be managed. No matter what you do, you had to take a loss, and that created a chain reaction where everything that was connected to silicon industry started to become affected, and they started to suffer loss of income. This is so severe that Ford and General Motor, two giants of auto manufacturing, they are suffering, that they are like, dude, we have to shut down our car factories because we do not have ICs to put on the cars. You're like, car and IC? Yeah, cars have insane amount of computers. Like they have a very complex. Heck, most modern cars don't even have a foot pedal. Their foot pedal is an encoder that feeds a car main controller, and then car main controller throttles up or throttle down. So fundamentally, most cars nowadays are what we call drive-by-wire. So drive-by-wire does require ICs. So this started the silicon shortage. There is no physical shortage. It's not like, okay, we are running out of silicon. That's not happening. But we are running out of the factories that were producing it very smoothly. So production was, there is a like choke. Now there is an accident. Now we have to undo everything. It will take very long amount of time. Then we come to mining. This is a really big painful point for GPU purchasers. Basically, if I want to buy a GPU, this is a pain point that I have to deal with it. Now, why does people do mining? Well, it's free money. You may be like, aren't I spending money to do this? Well, no. Like compared to everything else, like even investment, even in stock market, this is like guaranteed money. It's like you put a X amount of money to buy the equipment. You put a X amount of location and electricity cost, and you just get more money out of it. Like flat out, you get more money out of it. So every Tom, Dick and Harry is doing it. However, you have to be very mindful. These people are doing this out of what we call calculations. It's mathematics, all mathematics to them. So they will never overpay. So what these people are doing, they are not targeting people like eBay and all that. They are targeting retailers. What they are going to retailers is like, bro, I hear you gonna get RTX 30,000 series graphics. Wouldn't it be nice if you sold all of them in one go, and all of them had to be shipped in one go? Because here's the deal, shipping is tedious. Even if you are getting profit out of it, it's much more efficient. It's like, hey, that truck that came in, yeah, just ship it back up. That's much easier rather than like trigger truck, create an inventory, ship it to everywhere. It's like, what if the product you are getting from Nvidia or Asus, whatever board partner, don't let it unpack. Just ship it to us. We're gonna give you 1% extra commission or whatever have you. So retailers are like, dude, that's very tempting offer. It's like, I don't have to deal with anything. It's like, I put my money in, I got the profit, I'm done, I'm going home. So these people are directly basically most vulnerable to scalpers of mining type, because and mining people they will not overpay, because for them it's like a mathematical investment. It's like, dude, this is $800, running cost is like, let's say $50 per month. So whatever they have, let's say $800 they are investing on this puppy per month, and this card's mining efficiency is only $900 per month. So you get that, like if a scalper comes to them, it's like, I will sell you this graphics card for 900, they're like, no thanks. So be very mindful. So this is a thing they have to do. They will never overpay, and this is an investment for them, and they do try to resell it into the basically second-hand used market. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes Nvidia is like, lol, we're gonna block it, or who have it, which is really not a good idea, because that only makes them into e-waste. So that's a system that we have to deal with. And as of now, you may be like, wouldn't this go away? Like same way it hype happened in 10,000 series graphics card, then dip happened in 20,000, because again cryptocurrency crashed. This will happen, this crash and boom and crash and boom, they will keep happening. So we have to accept it. This is part of our life, we just have to accept it. It's like, mining is here, it's permanently here to stay, we have to just deal with it. Now, understanding the aspect of human nature to this is the low patience. The low patience that was on offer, on display, that was really frightening, because we created a demon ourselves. This is the first time consumer was directly creating a demon they could not undo. Scalpers can only send to impatient people, basically impatient people. Think of it this way: if you show me a graphics card, let's say 3080, let's say it's $1,500, it's like, okay, expensive, but it's like, okay, good enough. Now what if you show me the same card as like 4,000 euros? I'm like, dude, this is the electrical equipment, it's not gonna retain its value. It's not gold brick, it's not gonna retain its value. It's gonna be like toast after 3-4 years. It's gonna like, there would be a new equipment guaranteed after 3 to 4 years, which will be like 10th of the price and more efficient, more energy efficient, and more powerful also, and with newer technologies. So what's the point of overspending that much? Now again, if you have GG amount of money and you're like, I don't care kind of money, go YOLO on it. But that creates a feedback loop where it's like, scalpers are like, dude, I only have to sell 1 or 2 graphics card which I have scalped, and I would be like rolling in money. They will do that, and because of the people, so many people, like there are statements saying that around 40,000 GPUs were sold by single scalpers. So that means there were a lot of people willing to overpay for something that is not worth that kind of money. That is really dangerous, because that creates an incentive. Next generation, they were like, dude, we have to scalp, like we have to, because this is a gold mine. So this time, low patience people created a demon that we cannot slay anymore. So that was really, really bad. Now what if you are a normal dude and do not have GG amount of money, and you're like, dude, how long till I make a normal CPU with normal GPU with normal prices? Worst case scenario is December 2021. By March, all production lines, all the backlog issues should have been taken care of. But by December 2021, it definitely should have been, unless the world goes boom again. So flat out, by December 2021, you should be good. Now many people will like, dude, I need to make a system so I can get the most money out of it, because if you are doing something extensive like gaming or streaming, you may be like, dude, if I wait too long, that means the next GPU will come much sooner to me, and I would have only gotten, let's say, 1 year of usable top bleeding edge performance. Here's the deal, next generation is not likely to be a huge leap. This huge leap is very rare. It rarely happens like, okay, this generation, that rarely happens. Think of it this way: what was the jump from 3G to 4G, 4G to 5G? Like everything happened. 5G was such a huge flop. Everybody's like, oh yeah, 5G network does not have range, let's just call 4G into 5G. It's like, lol. So that happens. It's like every jump does not translate to having like GG amount of. It's like, think of this way: 12 megapixel of iPhone versus like some weird camera with 108 megapixel. You do not have the same amount of performance. So same thing will happen. This huge leap that we got this time is not likely to be repeated anytime soon. It may take 1 generation, may take 2-3 generations of waiting before you're like, no, this time is really good jump. So patience will be rewarded. So I would urge you, never ever buy from scalper. You are creating a demon which we will never ever be able to slay. So this was my presentation on this out of stock scenario. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.